What if the world just forgot you existed? I know, it sounds like something out of a movie, but this isn't fiction. This is the absolutely incredible true story of a flight that vanished off the face of the Earth and the passengers who just refused to disappear.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It all starts on what feels like a totally ordinary day. We're talking October 15th, 1995.
So you've got Pan Am Flight 6. And this isn't just any plane. It's a luxury double-decker soaring high above the Pacific. There are 77 people on board, heading from Hawaii to San Francisco. You know the vibe. Some folks are reading, others are just gazing out at that endless blue ocean. Absolutely no one has any idea of the chaos that's about to unfold.
And then, just like that, bam, the peace is shattered. Four masked people, armed, they get up from their seats. Suddenly the plane is theirs. It's a hijacking.
But here's the thing. The hijackers, they've just made a massive, fatal mistake. They disabled the plane's location system, thinking they're clever. But now, they're flying completely blind, right into the jaws of a monstrous typhoon.
All right, so that brings us to our first section, the flight that vanished.
I mean, look at how fast everything just falls apart. First, you've got the hijacking. Then they knock out the location system, a terrible move that leads them straight into that typhoon. For two grueling hours, the pilot is fighting the storm with everything they've got, but it's just no use. It's a losing battle. And then the worst happens. Both engines fail. The plane becomes a fireball, just plummeting towards the Pacific Ocean.
So in these terrifying final moments, a few brave passengers actually manage to overpower the hijackers. They get a door open, and just before the plane hits the water, they leap into this violent, churning ocean. And here's what's just incredible. Against all odds, 60 people survive that initial impact. But, and this is a huge but, their ordeal, it's only just beginning. They're lost, adrift, in the middle of the world's largest ocean.
Okay, so they're adrift, but they eventually spot something, a small, deserted island. And this is where their first day in a new and, frankly, terrifying reality begins.
I mean, can you even imagine the scene? You're soaked, you're terrified, you feel completely hopeless. People are crying, screaming, despair is just washing over everyone. And then one voice cuts right through all that chaos. It's a school teacher, a guy named Mr. David. He stands up and says, "If we panic, we will all die. We have to live." And that right there, that is the moment everything changes. The turning point from being victims to becoming survivors.
And you know what? Those words, they sparked something. People started to organize. They came up with a plan, a system for survival. Okay, step 1, take care of the injured. That's priority number 1. Step 2, we need water. Let's figure out how to collect rainwater. Step 3, food. We'll split into teams and search. 4, shelter. Let's build something, anything, from what we can find. And finally, step 5, they got creative. They started sharpening sticks into spears to try and hunt for fish.
So they try and fail, over and over again. But then, a young man finally does it. He spears one single small fish. And when they cooked that fish and shared it, wow, it was so much more than just food. It was a symbol. It was proof that they weren't helpless, that they could actually do this. It was their first real victory.
But look, one victory doesn't win the war, right? Especially not a war for survival. The days start to bleed into weeks and the weeks into months. And this leads them into a whole new brutal phase of their journey, death and a new life.
Meanwhile, back in the real world, the search has been going on for months, but they found absolutely nothing. So the authorities, they have to make this grim announcement. Pan Am Flight 6 and all 77 people on it are officially declared dead. Their families hold memorials. The world, it just moves on. Everyone believes they're gone forever, lost at the bottom of the ocean.
And back on the island, the reality was just as grim, if not worse. I mean, the conditions were so harsh, there's no medicine, there are new illnesses, and it all starts to take its toll. In just those first few really difficult months, 10 more people die. The group of 60 survivors is now down to 50.
And just when it seems like all hope is fading, after 2 long years on this island, something truly miraculous happens. A baby is born. And the first cry of that healthy child echoing across the island, I mean, it must have sounded like music. It was this powerful sign that life, no matter what, finds a way. And it gave them a whole new reason to fight. Suddenly, they weren't just surviving for themselves anymore. They were surviving for the future, for a new generation.
And that new hope? Well, it was going to have to sustain them for an almost unimaginable amount of time. We're talking 13 years.
Just take a look at this timeline for a second. It really puts the sheer scale of this into perspective, doesn't it? Year 0, the crash and survival begins. Fast forward to year 2, that first child is born, a huge symbol of hope. Jump all the way to year 10, and they've actually built a small, functioning society. And then finally, at year 13, the sound of rescue.
And this part is just incredible to me. They didn't just survive, They built a whole new civilization from scratch. Mr. David, the teacher, he starts a school for the kids, teaching them about a world they've never even seen. They start planting coconut seeds, not just for today, but for the future, for years down the line. They figured out advanced stuff like how to smoke fish so it would last, and they even created their own traditions. The anniversary of the crash became Survival Day, a day to remember those they lost and to celebrate being alive.
So over those 13 years, life went on. There were more births, which is amazing, but also more deaths from accidents and illness. So by the time we get to the climax of this story, the total population on that little island is 48 people.
And now, after 13 long years of total silence, their isolation is about to be shattered in the most incredible way. This is the unbelievable return.
Okay, so picture this. One morning, they hear something, a sound so completely alien after 13 years that at first they've got to be thinking, am I imagining this? It's the loud, deep blast of a ship's horn. And they just scramble. They light a huge fire, they're waving their arms, screaming with every single ounce of strength they have left. And this time, the ship sees them.
So when these 48 survivors finally return to civilization, the world is just stunned. I mean, the story sounds impossible, right? Like a fantasy? People were asking, how could this even be real? How could you possibly prove it? Well, the proof came from a diary. One of the survivors had kept a diary that detailed every single day of their 13-year ordeal. Every birth, every death, every struggle, every single victory. It was the undeniable, concrete proof of the impossible.
Their story is just a staggering testament to human resilience, isn't it? And it leaves all of us with a pretty powerful question to think about. A question we should probably all ask ourselves. If everything was taken away from you, everything, how far could your will to live take you?